Why, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today I got a battle video for you of the Sage 5 versus the Spyderco Para 3. If you guys haven't seen enough of these, well, here's another one. That's sarcasm, we've probably seen too many of them. But, to go over my criteria when doing these battles or comparison videos, we go over aesthetics, the blade, the ergonomics, the fidget factor, the fit and finish, the carry factor, and the value. So there are 7 total subjects that we can grade these on. And the way I do this is I grade this on a 0, 1, 2 scale. 0 being you didn't win the category, 1 being you barely won the category, and 2 being you just obliterated the category. I feel like that adds a little bit more accuracy to the battles, and it adds a little bit of an element, just kind of like you can give a win without feeling bad with the 1, right? Sometimes you're like, I kind of want to give this one a win, but I don't know how to justify it as much. Sometimes that intangible feel just counts as a 1. So first and foremost, let's talk about the aesthetics. So this is your Spyderco Sage 5. And here is your Spyderco Para 3 S45VN. I'm going to say S45VN because that makes the difference in some categories, while the Sage 5 is S30V. So the aesthetics, honestly, guys, hands down, nobody likes the look of the Para 3. I don't care. If you saw the Para 3 and you're like, I like that look, put a comment below. But if you saw the Para 3 after holding a Spyderco and already being a Spyderco fan, your comment doesn't count. Because when you first see a Spyderco Para 2 or Para 3, you're going to be like, that knife is ugly as sin. It's just ugly. The Sage 5 actually looks like a better version of a knife. Now, it doesn't necessarily look like your typical knife, but it looks more normal to the eye. And this carbon fiber G10 does make it pop just a little bit more. So I'm going to give the aesthetics a 2-point win to the Sage 5. Why? Less about the Sage 5, more about the Para 3 being ugly as sin. Blade. So going into the blade of these, this is kind of hard because these are kind of the same blade shape and very, very different at the same time. But they are typical Spyderco full flat grind. These are both just stupid slicey blades. I have no issues with either one of these. But due to recently carrying my Para 2, I've really fallen in love with this style of blade with the Para 3. Why? Because I went to go make some cuts that were more slice cuts, but when I came in and I dug in with the tip, and I kind of did it on accident, like you're just kind of drawing it towards the material, or I guess away from the material, but moving your knife in for the slice, that tip punctures so freaking well, it's great. Now, on the flip side, that tip might be a little bit more dainty because it has less material to hold it, but it's still the same thickness at the tip. Now, on top of all that, this is an S45VN blade, which I don't like to consider in the blade itself. It's more about the blade profile. But, you know, here it's kind of hard to argue. I have to give a +1 win to the Para 3. Why only a +1? Because I'm going to exclude the S45VN because I'm holding that off for a different category where it does get some points there. But the only difference is I like the puncturing ability that the Para 3 brings over the Spyderco Sage 5. Fidget factor. This was a no-brainer. This Para 3, despite being off-center, there is no blade play, no up and down. I haven't tweaked this at all. This is how it came. This I've been carrying and haven't been able to get that full fidget factor play. Not to mention, when I'm doing the compression lock on this, it's really easy to just access. The Sage 5, it's easy to access, but it's a more narrow access point. So those two combined, I mean, you can just hear the snappiness of the Para 3 versus the Sage 5. The Sage 5 just isn't as fun to fidget with as the Para 3. The Para 3 is going to get a +2 for the fidget factor here. Now that gives us a +2 for the fidget factor and a +1 for the blade for the Para 3 and a +2 for the aesthetics of the Sage 5. Currently the Para 3 is in the lead 3-2. Ergonomics. This may shock some of you guys, but in the choked up position, which is really where both of these knives are kind of meant to be held, and because of that, this is why this is such a big difference. If you notice, let's see if I can measure this out. I don't know how accurate this is going to be, but I'm going to try. At the most narrow point here, you're looking at 0.937. At the most narrow point here, this may prove my own thing wrong. So you're looking at a 0.94. It's not significant to where I should be able to tell. I think it's due to the fact that that narrow point on the Para 3 is right in the middle and that's it. Whereas this has a gradual ramp on both sides, so it doesn't cup your hand as well. It doesn't feel as thick because this one gets thicker much faster. This in hand, in my opinion, is much more comfortable to use than this in hand. I have a lot more pressure in this large thumb ramp right here that I can really drive with it. Now, when I say much more, I'm not going to give that a +2 for the ergonomics there, but I will give it a +1 for the Para 3. So now the Para 3 is winning 4-2. Fit and finish. So while this has really good action, this one came perfectly centered and stayed perfectly centered. I know Para 3s are kind of notorious for coming off center. Now, I can fix that. I just, you know, it's a fit and finish issue. Beyond that, I mean, I really don't have any else to compare to. Both of these knives look very, very good. No gaps, and they just seem to do what they're supposed to do and what we would expect out of Spyderco. So due to that, the fit and finish is going to go to the Sage 5, bringing the Sage 5 to a 3-4 underdog right now to the Para 3. Let's go into carry factor. This is where the Sage 5 shines, right? Especially to the Para 3. I did this in my Sage 5 video, but let's do it again. So the overall thickness in your pocket's coming in at a 0.43. The overall thickness of the Para 3 is coming in at a 0.45. So the Para 3 is a little bit thicker. The Para 3 is also going to be a little bit longer in your pocket. Length coming in at just over 4 inches. The length of this one coming in at, it looks right at 4 inches, maybe under 4 inches. From the angle that you guys are looking at it, it might look different. Yeah, this is about 4 1/4. The Sage is about a 4 inch for the handle. So not only is it going to carry thinner, it's going to carry more narrow, or shorter rather. And then, last but not least, this is what you have sticking out of your pocket. That is all you have there. And that's what you got there. It's a massive difference in the carry. Now, we're not talking about replacing the pocket clips, because believe me, once I get done with this Para 3, it is going to smash this Sage 5 as far as if we were to compare them again in everything but value. But where we sit now, the Sage 5 hands down carries much better than the Para 3, and it's even shorter by about 5 thousandths to 10 thousandths in that. So every regard is just much better. Not to mention this G10 does rip up your pants because they have that really strong peel ply texture on the G10, whereas this carbon fiber laminate G10 does feel much smoother to pull in and out of your pocket. So the Sage 5 is going to get a +2 for carry factor, bringing the Sage 5 to a 5 points and the Para 3 S45 up to 4 points. Last and certainly not least, guys, value. So the Sage 5 is coming in at $163 for S30 and that carbon fiber G10 laminate stuff. And basically that's it. These are the differences, right? You're getting G10 and S45 VN for $145 for the Spyderco Para 3 and S45 VN. Now, I took that from several different sites. If you look on Spyderco, it's coming in at like $210, but if you look on like every other retailer site, it's around $145. So for a $20 difference, but the CPM S45, I mean, being cheaper, I don't know that these carbon fiber laminate scales are worth $20 and then some because you have S30V versus S45 VN. Now, again, I'm not going to argue S45 VN versus S30V. They're both great steels. S45 VN naturally supposed to be better, but a lot of it has to do with the machining side of things. Blah, 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 blah. It's not going to hold an edge as long. It's going to be a little bit more corrosion resistant, I believe, but it will be tougher. So, total sidebar, side note, what are we looking at here? In my opinion, S45 VN and $20 cheaper warrants a +2 to value over the Sage 5 with the carbon fiber scales. Bringing our total conclusion to the Spyderco Para 3 winning, squeaking out that win at 6 points to 5 points for the Spyderco, Jesus, the Spyderco Sage 5. Does that mean either one of these are bad knives? Does that mean I recommend one over the other? Not necessarily, because I am preferring the Para 3 because I want to mod it. I want to turn it into not this, but I want to do like I did with my Para 2 with the M390. I kind of have something going on here. It's not completely done, but we're almost there. I want to do the same thing with the Para 3. I'm enjoying modding the knives, or building the knives rather, more so than just getting them and using them. And so that's why the Para 3 I like better. But I also like the action better, and I like something a little bit more substantial in hand. That's why I steer clear of lightweights. But if you want something that's much more carry-friendly and really does kind of the same job, the Sage 5 really knocks that out of the park. I can see why people pick the Sage 5 over the Para 3. I just don't, and I'm glad objectively my point system didn't either, because I don't go into the point system with the bias. I try to look at it objectively. So based on my comparison and my own preference, I would pick the Para 3. That's just me, though. That is all I got for you guys. The Spyderco Para 3 in this comparison video does take it down to the Spyderco Sage 5. The Sage 5, as you guys know, was given away in my 1K viewer giveaway, or 1K sub giveaway. So it's not that I didn't like it. Realistically, I'm replacing it with the Spyderco Para 3. That's just kind of where my head's going. I don't have a need for the two. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much just for even entertaining the thought of clicking on my stuff. For those of you that don't know, I do have a Patreon. Go check out the Patreon. Every 2 months I give away a knife that's worth, it's like 110% the value of 1 month's earnings in the Patreon. And then I also do knife sales. I haven't done them recently, but I'll be doing those again. Second, please go check out White Mountain Knives. You can probably get either of these two models there. I don't have a link because I don't want to provide a link and make you guys think that it's good. It's not that you take the link and go. You have to use my promo code EEDC at White Mountain Knives for 10% off. And if you use that, the channel gets credit. I make no money off of it. It's just something that I'm doing to kind of show them that they're using the promo code, and eventually they're going to send some loaner knives and whatnot. So it would help me out a lot, and the channel a lot, if you can go and use my promo code anytime you go and shop at White Mountain Knives. Remember, EEDC. And for the record, when I was pricing these out, granted, the Sage 5 and carbon fiber is out in most places, but at White Mountain Knives, it was the same exact price as everywhere else, but you can put in that promo code EEDC and get 10% off, bringing it to about $15 cheaper than everywhere else. Throwing that out there, too. Not trying to push their channel, or I am trying to push that retailer because they have fantastic service and everything. You guys are going to get tired of hearing me say it. But I truly want you guys to go there, use the promo code, because it can bring a lot to the channel. It can help them out, and I might be able to do some cool giveaways in the future based on just that result. You guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great freaking day, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below, and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of Patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.